Welcome to episode 40 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club. And this week we reflect on, well, the match that never was. Back for another podcast, a big number actually, 40, and joined for the 40th time by Aaron Howie. How are you?
Lucky you been in my company 40 times, 40 episodes, huh?
That's over 40 hours nearly.
That's way too much. I wouldn't put anyone through that. Thank you so much to anyone that's listened to us for that amount of time.
It's actually probably way more than 40 hours. Some episodes have been longer. Yeah. But anyway, although we've been kind of been good lately. We've been kind of keeping them to about the hour mark. Like, so.
Thereabouts, yeah.
But I'm sure we will get in depth. I thought we would this week as well.
So did I.
We didn't have a match.
I thought we'd have a Sunday evening match to talk about, fresh in the memory, but not to be.
I'm guessing a lot of people that are listening to this are a bit annoyed, frustrated, disappointed, sad. There's probably lots of angry. There's lots of emotions running through their head.
Particularly for those that actually travelled and made the trip.
Whatever about getting ready to watch it on LOI TV, I'd imagine some people made an early morning trip up to Dublin for the 6 o'clock kickoff. And were they in the ground?
They were in the ground. Yeah, they were in the ground. It's one of those ones. It's just disappointing all around the way it happened, and it's not necessarily the fault of anyone. Look, I've seen everything online, obviously.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was there just after the second inspection was done, when it was announced it was going ahead. And to be fair, and I'm the first to give out about things, but there was a 15-minute spell there where the weather was absolutely atrocious in Tallaght, and it went from passing an inspection to having water sitting on the pitch very, very quickly. And look, whether, I don't know what that tells you about the second inspection, if it should have passed or what, I don't know. I wasn't there to witness it, so I'm not involved or have any knowledge in that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just the way it happened, so close to kick off. Fans of both sides were in the ground. The teams were just about coming out to warm up. So it's...
Well, that's the thing, I suppose. It disrupts the team as well. Look, there's a huge cost in terms of fans going all the way up for not a game that didn't go on, and I'd imagine travelling up and a bit of food and all of that kind of stuff, and some might have even stayed overnight, I don't know. But for the team as well, there's huge disruption going all the way up from. I'd imagine Tim and the lads went up Sunday morning, had a pre-match meal, getting ready, but even psychologically they're ready for a game that doesn't happen.
Ready for a game that we probably, in all honesty, had a very good chance of winning and doing well in that game. But yeah, look, as you said, pre-match meal, the stop like that, the meeting rooms, all this kind of thing, all that stuff that has to be paid for, the buses,
there's
to
a cost
and from,
to the club,
which all now was for nothing and has to be redone probably in a couple of weeks' time. Very frustrating, as you said. Fans, there were definitely people who were overnighted it. There was Tyne Trust's family came over, and they were in Tallaght for it, specifically for the game. Yeah,
I saw a picture of him out in the pitch or something with the phone. He was, but I suppose for him, like, that must be very upsetting then, for the fact that, like, your family come all the way over for the game.
Yeah, and you know what? I think there was probably a feeling among some people that it was going to be off. That there wasn't, no matter what we did, it was going to be off. It was. It just.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, it is. Do you know what it is? And even it's just because, again, it was so close to kick off. Look, we were going about it as if there was a match going on. I put up the lineup on social media as normal. We submitted our lineup. It was happening as far as we were concerned. And I was down pitch side. To be fair, there was a lot of standing water around the pitch, kind of around the technical areas and stuff. I was standing down around there, and a couple of Rovers players were coming out in their kit, ready to warm up. Shawnee Maguire was coming out the tunnel, and I was kind of like, no, it's off. So yeah, there was an announcement made over the PA saying game's off. Sorry, basically, and fans had to leave. So I think everyone's issue is the fact that it was so late.
If it was early, I know that 11 o'clock inspection. Look, weather changes, I understand that too.
And again, even the 4 o'clock inspection, look, I don't know what criteria referees have to abide by for a pitch inspection or whatever, but by every metric they have available to them, at the 4 o'clock inspection it was playable. And look, I can tell you, anyone else who was around Tallaght can tell you, there was a 15-20 minute spell there of torrential rain. Areas outside the stadium weren't great after it as well. So look, it's just one of those, I suppose, freak weather events in a way, but it's still very disappointing the way it happened. Again, not necessarily, Shamrock's fault or the FAI or the league's fault. It's just, I suppose you always want somebody to blame, but it was just, a far from ideal situation is probably the politically correct way of putting it.
It's also kind of, I suppose, not the greatest time in the year for a game to be called off. You're kind of trying to gain a bit of momentum at the start of the season, and I'd imagine the team now will have gone 2 weeks without a match.
Yeah, and look, from our point of view, this is me speaking as a Cork City fan. Shamrock obviously had a good couple of games in a short space of time.
Yeah.
It definitely suited them to not have to play that game.
Look,
whether they'll admit to that or not,
there's no doubt about that.
Everyone knows that.
We joked about it last week, and look what happened. It exactly happened.
Yeah.
We said, we were on about them in Europe, and we said it would be kind of nice if they went to extra time.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what happened.
And that's kind of an issue with the pitch as well up there. Like, there was 120 minutes played on Thursday night. The Ireland women played there on Friday. Apparently it had been used for something else as well. Someone was saying up there, I didn't catch what it was used for, but and then that on Sunday. With the weather, it didn't help.
And we saw a similar circumstance last year, which is why Turner's Cross was closed for a while. That the lads said there was too many matches, because remember Cove and ourselves were both playing on the pitch.
And it was closed for a while. But you know what? Even before that, I think it was 2023, we had Waterford in the Cup. I think it was 23. They were on the way. It was a bit like that. There was a pitch inspection.
Yeah.
Originally it had passed. It failed shortly before kickoff, and Waterford were pretty much at Turner's Cross. So, like, it's happened in the flip side as well. It's happened on our end, but yeah, look, not ideal. We obviously, as a supporter fan base, were very confident of being able to do something positive in that game.
So we just have to wait now.
Yeah, we just have to wait. I don't know when it's going to be played. I don't have any information on that, to be honest. But no matter what, again, you see the reaction online. It definitely suited one team more than the other team to not have that game on. So,
well, the fact that your fans were celebrating nearly and our fans were very angry tells you a lot, really.
Exactly, yeah.
It shows that our fans had a bit of confidence. And I suppose if you think about it, we should have beaten probably Galway the week before. We were, and then Galway went on and beaten Pats.
Yeah.
Who many would regard as probably the favourites.
Sure, everyone is saying Pats are going to walk the league,
because of the running that they had at the end of last season, where if they had that momentum at the start, they would have won the league last year.
And the money they've spent as well, they kind of, that pressure, they've invited that pressure on themselves.
And obviously having someone that has been there, done that, bought the T-shirt as the boss.
Yeah.
Like, these things all help, so.
But you know what? I think there was such a large number of City supporters there as well. There was like 350, 400 City fans there, so
huge amount.
It was going to be a big away day. There was going to be a massively packed out and loud away end. So
I'm sure if Rovers fans came down to Cork and the same thing happened to them, like, they wouldn't be happy either. Like,
absolutely,
because there is an expense, like,
and even at that, they wouldn't be happy. But rightly so. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not blaming Shamrock Rovers or anything like that. It's just, it's natural to want to blame somebody. But it's very disappointing the way it happened, and especially when, yourself, they were there for the taking. Do you know what I mean? We could have. I'm very confident we would have got something in that match, if not beaten them. And yeah, it's bad enough having to go to Dublin in the first place, but having to go there and not kick a ball,
it's after messing
it's
up.
very frustrating.
It's after messing up all the City fans' fancy league, I'd say, as well, because
it's after messing up our podcast. We've no match to talk about.
I had 6 players about to play in that match.
I think I did as well, to be honest.
So I'm like, okay.
But this is the thing now. I'm looking at the fixture list and the calendar and seeing, when are we going to try and put it in?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know if it's going to be something they want to put in as soon as possible, or if it's going to be something. And then in a few weeks,
you have that other problem where the weather is very variable at this time of the year.
Yeah.
It doesn't really kind of balance until kind of May, even, if you think about it,
Yeah. I know when we were up there, Cork City as a club had offered to the referee or the FA, whoever it was, to say, look, we'll wait till 7, we'll wait till 8, whatever it is, we'll give the pitch an extra hour to be cleared or whatever. But yeah, there was sitting water on the pitch. There wasn't a lot of forking and all that kind of thing going on. It just seemed like it was accepted that it won't happen. But look, it's done now. I don't want to rant too much about it. I'd say if we recorded this podcast on Sunday night, it would have been a very different podcast. But
there was other matches took place over the weekend, so our academy were back in action.
Yeah, so we had Liam Carney in last week, sort of previewing that, and we were joking about everybody playing against Kerry, and everybody won, which was
the odd one, a
good weekend, a great way to start the season.
I think I was at the Tie this one, so while you were up in Dublin, I was in Fermoy watching our newest team.
You went a little bit up the same road we went
Yeah,
up, but
I think it was fair. I went to watch the under-14s. I was actually with Liam, and when we heard the news, the match was being called off, because I remember talking to him on the way and saying the match was still on at this stage, and next thing, their game kicked off at 4:30, and
we were all probably home around the same time, were we?
So I was really interested to see City's under-14s. They won 3-2. And I think that was probably the closest to the match.
That was the tightest of the games, yeah. So that one, as you said, 3-2. Matt Simic, Kieran McCarthy and Tom Mulconry got the goals in that. 15s were also playing Kerry. They were away 3-1 in Tralee. Tristan O'Driscoll, Fionn Rickson and Dean O'Halloran got the goals in that. 3-1 as well for the women's 17s. They were in Mayfield against Kerry. Lucia Lynch, Ella McCarthy and Sophia Redmond with those ones. The under 17s also beat Kerry. It was a big win. 19s didn't have a game. The women's 19s didn't have a game. And the men's under 20s were also in Tralee at the same time as the 15s against Kerry. 2-0 win. David Dunn and Liam Quinn got goals in that one.
Yeah, because I looked at that. They must have been playing in two separate pitches, because they were both playing in Kerry.
In Mount Hawk Park. It's actually a really cool setup, to be fair, for what they have. They've got their main Astro with the stand, which is where the first team play. Yeah. And then the media deck where I'd be, it's a bit like it almost looks like a house at the halfway point. And it's almost like completely symmetrical, where there's desks and windows on one side, but there's the exact same at the other side of the room, looking out on the back pitch, I suppose it's called, which is also a full-size Astro. So it's a really good setup they have. But yeah, 2 matches on the go at the same time. And both wins. So
both wins.
A successful start to the academy season.
The lads are doing okay, and there's been a couple of changes which Liam spoke around, behind the scenes in terms of coaches and setups and stuff like that. But looks like they're off to a good start.
I still can't get over the fact it was Kerry. Like, everyone played Kerry. What are the chances of that? But
I don't know. Sometimes I think the FAI set these things up. Like, I'm not accusing them of setting up, but like, it might make it from a logistical point of view.
Ease them in, an easy one to start. Not an easy fixture, but an easy
closer.
Trip. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe so. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe there's something like that will keep the two clubs around this part of the world kind of.
We're not sending people to.
Yeah,
Donegal,
they could have made it easier by playing Cove, but they made a small bit of a journey.
Yeah, they give you a bit of a challenge anyway, a bit of a spin. But a brilliant start to the season. It's great to have that back as well. So now that was kind of like the final piece. Obviously, the women's first team, but they're in training in pre-season, so they're kind of back as well. So yeah, it's almost fully business as usual now. All the football, all the teams are back, and another year of it, as we say.
And come here, I was on social last night, and I saw kind of an unusual tweet by Super Value Parky Queeve, and then I saw the club replying with 2 little eyes. Is that, I wonder, and you probably can't say it to me, but is that anything to do with our conversation with Dermot towards the back end of last year, when you said there could be a big friendly come next summer?
I have no idea what you're talking about, to be honest.
But somebody must have put those little eyes up.
Someone else must have the passwords, I don't know.
Maybe Dermot has it?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. It wasn't me anyway. I know nothing.
So it's a case of watch the space, I'd imagine.
I suppose keep an eye on those Twitter accounts and see what else comes out of it, maybe.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show. I don't even know everything that goes on in this club, so I'm always waiting.
Sure, we're the last to find out in here.
So, but we do know that not 1, but 2 fixtures.
Yeah, we went from having no game last weekend to having 2 games this weekend, so it'll
be a hectic weekend. So they'll go from too much rest to having no rest at all.
Yeah, it's mad. I suppose the away trip that we do have on Monday is only over the road, so it's not too far. But first up, anyway, we have
the Bows
on Friday. More dubs.
More dubs.
More dubs. Put out a lovely video there yesterday and this morning. Do you remember Dan Krezic's goal against them in 2023?
Oh, yeah.
That's up there, I think, with one of my more fonder memories at Turner's Cross, just purely because you get an 88-minute equaliser in an away game. You think, got a point here.
Yeah.
Bows fans bouncing around the away end.
The pitch and everything.
Fans on the pitch. then
we score.
30 seconds later, we score. And I swear to God, I remember looking at that away end. I love the fact that even to this day, not a single video has come out. Somebody was filming in that away end, because of course they were. You got an 87-minute winner. Someone had the camera out getting videos.
They were still celebrating.
There's never been any footage surfaced from that away end. I wonder why. But yeah, still celebrating.
Yeah.
And we barely caught it on the stream, sure. Yeah, the goal. But
it's been a while since we had a big Dublin support, though.
It has? Yeah.
We didn't get anyone in the cup last year. Obviously we had Derry, but we had none of the Dublin teams.
No.
Obviously UCD and stuff were down.
The last big crowd we had really was...
Pats was in?
Kerry, I suppose. Well, past from Dublin, but the last big away crowd we had was probably Kerry.
Kerry last year, that first game of the season was a huge crowd.
And even at that was the first game of the season, so it was ages ago. Do you know what I mean? Galway brought an okay crowd last week, to be fair.
Yeah, they did, in fairness to them. Whereas, like, Bows will bring a couple of busloads.
And this is the thing for me. There's going to be a couple of busloads. The away end's going to be full. They're going to be loud. And we need to be louder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to... No, I say I don't want to be listening to them. We're not going to hear them anyway. The crosses will be bouncing on Friday night. But, yeah... It's another big one. Every game's a big game now this season. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be another them against us kind of thing where they're coming down Turner's Cross. It needs to be hostile as possible. Look, Tim has said it in his interviews. Shawnee has said it. It needs to be a cauldron. Do you know what I mean? And I think it will be again Friday, hopefully. But there will be a big away crowd. There'll be a big home crowd. So,
and do we keep an eye out for this? Is it €10 million man or £10 million man? I can't remember. He was with Sheffield United. Is it Mousset?
Lise Mousset, yeah.
Let's hope he doesn't get his first goal at Turner's Cross.
Hopefully not. Yeah. There's been a lot of talk about him and a lot of media coverage about that. But hopefully not. Yeah, we'd like to keep him quiet. Put Charlie Lyons on him there now for 90 minutes. Clung to him, hopefully.
Both are kind of it's an unusual. There's not talk about them for winning the title, but there won't be talk about them going down either. They're kind of somewhere in between.
I think, they'll be disappointed with how last season was. We played them in pre-season a few weeks ago and they beat us, but that was, I think, their second or third game of pre-season. It was our first game. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that's a completely accurate reflection of it. From talking to a couple of Bows lads, they weren't overly happy with their transfer business up until 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. They started bringing a few in. That's when they brought Mousset in as well. But yeah, I don't want to be like they're not great. I think they're not pushovers anyway. They're not pushovers. They're not world beaters. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be, again, it's a game that we can absolutely win.
Yeah. They have a good manager and who's been around the block, like Alan Reynolds.
Who's suspended for Friday.
Oh, I forgot about that. What happened there? 2 managers got sent off in the first 15 minutes.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was down in. I went to Cove. Cove were playing Kerry. I was down there.
You're getting friendly with the lads in Cove.
I was just keeping an eye. That's all. And I had the FAI Connect notifications on.
Yeah.
And I think the first 20 minutes there was a goal, 4 yellow cards, 2 red cards. I was like, what is going on up there?
I saw the greatest league in the world put up only 2 managers sent off in the first 15 minutes.
So I don't know.
Sort of fisticuffs on one side of the pitch.
I didn't see. I think what happened, the ball went in the technical area and there was a pushing and shoving and that kind of thing. But yeah, both sent off. So Alan Reynolds is suspended for Friday, so I don't know, will he be up in the gantry where we are in the stand or what?
Maybe doing what Tim was doing against the UCD away shooting.
I know, yeah.
the greatest thing about the League of Ireland
if he's in the gantry,
if
he's in the gantry, I'll make sure the windows are closed so nobody can hear him.
You'll hear him on the commentary.
On the commentary. Like me in the clip from the Daniel Kresic, allegedly. There's no proof it's me, but somebody's celebrating in the background. Apparently it's me. Yeah. Probably was. It definitely was. But yeah, he's someone who's obviously very recognisable to Cork City fans. He was part of the coaching staff that he was here when we won the double. I think he was definitely here for the cup. Was he here in 17? He was. I think he was.
I think. Yeah. But
they do have a good manager, Stephen O'Donnell, again an ex-City player.
Yeah.
Who spent a little while at City, but most City fans will know him for his exploits at Dundalk. But it's a Cork City against Bows is always a big match. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I know. They're a big club. I think actually.
We're a bigger club, but yeah.
We are. So
well, no, we definitely are.
I saw this article the other day. Okay?
They sell jerseys, that's great, but in terms of football club, it's not a competition.
I think Garrett in extratime.ie, I don't know if you know Garrett. I saw him put up this thing on LinkedIn. So he did a big piece and he looked at the data from attendances over the last 10 years and this kind of, rise and of attendances and so on, and kind of got the trend and got an average over that period of time and divided in to see who the biggest clubs in the country were. And I suppose they have the biggest stadium. Shamrock Rovers were top in terms of attendances.
Is this including their European?
No, League of Ireland matches only. But who's second?
Us?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And at one stage we were bigger. So actually during like 2016, 2017, that kind of era there when we were doing really well, I suppose, and we were in 4 cup finals in a row, we were the biggest in the country.
Up until last year, we had more followers on all social media than the league that we play in.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So, they've overtaken now because obviously there's been a big overall push on the League of Ireland, which is great.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of Dublin clubs and Dublin League of Ireland fans who live in the Dublin bubble. Do you know what I mean? That
they forget how big we are.
The world doesn't exist outside Dublin, you know, that kind of thing.
Although I was disappointed. No, maybe it's just our crowd. No, we do have a lot of older fans as well. I would say that. But when I was looking at the League of Ireland fantasy football, I think we have the fourth most in terms of people using it that have said, you know, I think you have to put in what club you support.
When you're signing up, you do, yeah. Do you know what? I wouldn't look into that a whole lot because I like fantasy football.
Shelbourne was ahead of us, which surprised me. Like,
it's still a bit of a, like, not everyone plays fantasy football at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. The older heads wouldn't.
Yeah.
So therefore, we'd lose a lot there straight away because we have a loyal fan base. There's guys that have been through thick and thin with us that, you know,
look at the reaction. Look at the reaction to what happened on Sunday, and it shows the loyalty level of Cork City fans and how, like, everyone kind of straight away was us against them. Do you know what I mean? As it always should be. But no, I think, I think a lot of the Dublin fans just don't realise how huge Cork City is down here. To them, we're one of the countryside clubs, like a Sligo, you know, a faraway club that they out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. But I think they probably get a handy reminder when they come down here, like when Bows come down now on Friday and the cross is packed. And it's a big stadium with 4 stands, not a stadium with 1 stand and a waiting list for people to get into 1 stand that's open, like Dalymount, you know what I mean? Yeah. They're going on about, we're sold out. Should we all sell out if we had 1 stand? Like,
well, that's it.
Do you know what I mean?
I think they did come in 3rd position.
Yeah.
And I think it was Pats, I think, in 4th.
So it was us, that's the way I probably would have had it.
But that's what you would,
at the moment.
Traditionally, they would be the big 4 clubs. Like, Shelbourne are probably in the mix as well. Like, but
yeah, I think what always annoys me is, you know, the last 2-3 years, there's been the big League of Ireland revolution, you know, every club, the crowds are up and all this. We spent 2 of the last 4 in the first division, so we kind of missed out on it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which, like, frustrates the life out of me. But
the revolution has happened though more in Dublin. Looking at the attendance,
it has. But that's what I mean. Like, if we were there, I think all the national media coverage it's getting, and like, we weren't part of those games because we were going around playing against Athlone and Bray, this kind of thing. Yeah. If we were involved in that, I think we would have benefited from it as well. And we're back. Like, I know what you're saying there now about the attendances, but to me, like, Shamrock Rovers, whatever, they're doing well. Cork City as a whole,
if they took out our 2 first, is it how many seasons we were in the 1st division?
Well, 3
more actually.
3 years actually. 3, 21, 22 and 24. Yeah.
If they took that out, like, you wonder what the average would be then. You know, because it does make a difference. Because
and this goes back to what I'm saying about
the
how
away support also comes into consideration.
But do you know, we're talking about the bit of resurgence the league has had in the last couple of years. If you take those years out of it, which kind of ties in with when we got relegated and ended up in the 1st division, we're top. Yeah. Absolutely. This is back when Rovers we were beating Rovers 5-0 in cup quarterfinals at Tallaght. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We were 100% top. So I think we missed out on that resurgence a little bit, but we'll make up that ground. We will absolutely. I've no doubt in my mind we'll make up that ground.
One of the greatest things about the League of Ireland is the ups and downs of the thing. Like, you could be top of it for a while and then all of a sudden, like, I mean, Rovers were dominating the league before Dundalk. Yeah. And then we came in, like, we would have won a lot more only for Dundalk. We're actually really good at the time under Kenny. You know,
that era of us and Dundalk, that 4-year period,
you never see 2 teams like that good at the same time.
No, like Rovers the last couple of years, Shamrock, the last couple of years had Sligo didn't win any leagues the last couple of years,
Shamrock. Yeah. Do you see, I always, like, I hear a lot of people calling them Shamrock, and to me they're always Rovers, and it probably comes down to my time in the shed when I was younger.
They call us Cork. They want to call us the wrong club name, we'll call them the wrong club name. It's very, very simple.
Well, the media call us Cork as well all the time, like, but like, Derry, like.
Do you know what?
Like,
Shamrock. The Shamrock Rovers fans.
McDonald's or something.
The Shamrock Rovers fans get so wound up by that like every time I do it and I see the replies, I'm like, I'm doing it again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I would see us as the city, like, of the league.
Nobody in Cork, right? Nobody would ever turn around and say, "Oh, you're going to the Cork game at the weekend." Talking about, like, if someone says you're going to the Cork game, you're going to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or how did Cork get on at the weekend?
City is straight away, you know what they're talking about.
Exactly. To be fair, someone said, how did Shamrock get on? You know who you're talking about.
Well, that
same
is
logic.
true.
Like.
That is true. That is true, to be fair. Like, yeah.
Oh, God. I hope there's no Shamrock Rovers fans listening to this now because I couldn't be
You'd be
dealing with them.
wondering why would they be
I
listening to
couldn't
us?
be dealing with them for the week.
Like, this is the great thing about, like, we are probably in our own little bubble of, no, the media, if we have somebody on, they would listen to us every now and again, like, you know.
Yeah.
Because I have heard references to one or two of our episodes.
Yeah. I have as well.
And other stuff, like, you know, Dermot's interviews, Jake's interview, things like that have popped up on other shows.
I've had feedback as well, though, that, you know, people have their League of Ireland podcast they listen to.
Yeah.
There are people from other clubs who listen as well, not necessarily from...
Well, look, we say a lot
liking Cork
of
City, but yeah. If there are any Shamrock Rovers fans...
Well, sorry.
How was your Sunday? Ours wasn't great. You got to go home nice and early.
Yeah.
We got to stop in Junction 14 on the way back.
Junction 14, the unofficial hub for Cork City fans.
I'd say they were delighted. They got to close up early because they probably knew Cork City fans were going to be down there.
Sometimes they close up
9 o'clock.
early anyway. There'd be an Irish match in Eve and you'd be coming down and they look at you like you're stupid or something. You're
It's
arriving
almost,
at
you're
10:30.
offending them, yeah.
Like, you know, like, lads, there was a match on. Where do you think people come from?
Exactly, yeah. It's literally the purpose of the whole, you know, the shop you're in, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And you have to do a post-match analysis with other supporters inside there.
Exactly. Where else are we going to rant? We can't rant in the car. You need to sit down in Junction 14 and rant about the match you just watched or didn't watch, as was the case on Sunday.
Which I'd imagine there was lots of rants.
I tell you now, I was in the queue for Supermax. I'm standing there. I'd say every 30 seconds I get shoving the arm. Joke, isn't it? I was like, I know. Disgrace it. I know. Like, it is the meeting point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, Bows, and tickets are on sale at the moment for the Bows match.
Tickets are on sale. We also have the 5-match pass. We talked about that last week as well. It's the second 5-match pass, so it's the next 5 games. So Bows up to the Waterford home game in a couple of weeks' time. News is just broken out now as we're recording this as well that the Drogheda match is on TV at Turner's Cross, 28th of March.
28th of March, so the end of the month.
That's our first home game on Virgin 2. Our first actual game on Virgin 2 is on Monday, away to Waterford. So that's our second match of the weekend.
So we'll have all the cameras. It's been a while, actually, since that Pats game. Well, obviously, TG Cahir came for the women last year, but I'd say that Pats semi-final was the last time RT or any of them were here, was it? I think.
At Turner's Cross, yeah. The last time we were on TV.
I know, like, forget, all I know is
was also
away
Waterford.
fixtures.
Yeah, we won't mention it. But yeah, no, last time we had a match on TV at Turner's Cross was Pats in the Cup, Sunday afternoon.
So it'd be nice to have the cameras back.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It actually, the way it works, it's the LOI TV cameras that are already there. The feed it. Yeah, so
For that.
the studio Virgin News is actually in Dublin. It's their own studio. So it's
So the LOI TV cameras, do they have like extra cameras because like they're just going off of one?
They just take the LOI TV feed. Yeah. That's how the system works with 24/7, who are the company, and it goes like basically they hire the camera ops to go to each ground. There's 2 cameras.
Yeah.
And the feed is sent back to the Premier Sports Hub or whatever way it works.
But I presume
And
the commentators would be there.
the Virgin commentators they'll use for their own TV stuff, because they obviously have their own staff. But no, it's look, they might send in a third camera, an extra camera, but
That'd be
for the most part, it's essentially your LOI TV feed.
Yeah.
Goes on to Virgin TV.
Yeah.
So from a cost saving point of view, you look at the quality of it. Like 2 TV games have been on so far, perfect. Bar the lights in Talca Park not working, but we won't blame Virgin for that.
Sure, Drogheda themselves in the, back in the late 2007, 2008, they were a strong team back then. They were winning titles and stuff. So if you think about that, is a good thing about the league. Lots of different teams have a go off it.
Like they survived the relegation playoff last year
and won the cup,
which
is unbelievable. Like, to be honest, that was a great season for them.
Brilliant season, yeah.
To win basically 2 cups in a row,
and their biggest rivals got relegated.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a single Drogheda fan who would have been disappointed in any regard last season. They stay up, win the cup, biggest rivals go down. That's a good season. That's a very good season, actually.
So that's something to look forward to. So
we'd be keeping an eye. Well, we'd have been keeping an eye on them anyway. But
I think the week before there's no matches as well because there's the international duty.
International break, yeah. And again, the Rovers game, I don't know if that couldn't be fixed in for that weekend or what. I don't know the ruling on that.
It all depends. I suppose it all depends on who's called up.
Maybe, yeah.
But
at this point,
there won't be any Rovers players after Stephen Bradley's comments.
Shamrock. The FAI might start calling them Shamrock now as well.
But, you know, they were giving out. He was giving out last week
I
about
heard.
the no boss.
He was giving out about Heimer's comments from 4 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder will Heimer make an old appearance at Turner's Cross this season? He surely at some point.
He probably will. Stephen Kenny was down a couple of times.
He
when
was.
in
In fairness
charge.
to Stephen Kenny, he was down. Yeah.
So no, I'd expect him to be down. To be fair, everyone from the FA comes down at some point. Jonathan Hill, when he was in charge, has been down a few times. Mark Hannum has been down. Heimer probably will be. I'd say. Yeah, he wouldn't have been down for a first division game last year. You wouldn't blame him.
No, but he'll come down, and you'd imagine to look at some of the younger players for the under-21s as well. Like,
Definitely,
and
and to sort of
to see
get
what
a feel for
the next generation coming through.
Yeah, he's been at a few games last year, but he's probably seen every club bar us because we were in the first division, so he'll want to kind of get a sense of what Cork City is as well, which is good.
He'll hear about Cork, like it's just big place.
We'll have him in that seat there in the corner. We'll get him on the podcast while he's
grill
here.
him.
Absolutely. Or we'll at least
We'll put him in the dentist chair.
If he's at least in Turner's Cross, we'll grab 5 minutes with him for the podcast. Definitely.
Definitely.
So
we'll have to get him on.
That's part of the waiver they sign out. Anyone that comes to Turner's Cross is liable to be pulled as a guest for the podcast at any time.
So that's Friday night, but then straight into it on
Monday.
Waterford,
yeah. First trip to the RSC in a while.
Yeah.
Last time we were there, I think Rory Keating, I'm open to correction here, but I think that was the game where we conceded a penalty. No, sorry, Waterford equalised in the 90th minute and Rory Keating got a winner in the 92nd and 93rd minute, I think.
Jesus, yeah.
And that set us up to potentially win the league the next week, which we didn't do in Galway. But that was the last time we were there. So fond memories at the RSC.
Fond memories, yeah. Yeah, no, look, it's a nice short trip for fans as well. No, on a Monday night.
On a Monday, it's not ideal, yeah. Tickets actually went out to season ticket holders. The ticket link went out.
Yeah.
Last night, it's apparently a very complicated system to buy the tickets. I don't need to buy a ticket for it, so I haven't looked at it. But they went out to the season ticket holders last night. By the time you're listening to this, they will have gone public.
Yeah.
If there are any left, I presume there are. I don't know. I'd imagine a big crowd will go. I know it's a Monday night, but it's Waterford. I think there will be a big crowd.
There probably will be, yeah.
And there's a lot of City fans in Dungarvan, in Waterford itself.
And even Youghal and all those, that's close to them.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I mean?
It's not. I know it's not around the corner, but it's not a faraway trip by any means.
But
so
even for
it's
people
doable
living
for
in
Monday.
Mitchelstown and Fermoy, there's other roads there that go over to, it's handy enough. And we have a lot of Tipperary fans as well.
It's actually, and this goes back to our earlier point about how big Cork City is. I know a lot of people who, funnily enough, are supporting Kerry now that are actually Cork City fans, but lived in Kerry, but now they have a team in Kerry to support as well.
Yeah.
A lot of fans in Limerick, Tipperary. I know of one guy who comes down from Tipperary every weekend for every home game.
Yeah.
And there's bound to be more. Waterford, as you said, Cork City. I know we're massive. I always say this.
Yeah.
But Cork City as a club it's a huge club.
We're the club for
It is.
Munster, basically.
And I know we're obviously saying that this is the propaganda machine here, but it is. Do you know what I mean? It is a huge club.
And look,
and I think
we play in the home of Munster Football Association as well. So the biggest stadium in the area too.
I just think I was going to say the Dublin fans need to take notice. I actually don't care if they do or not. They're irrelevant to us, really. Do you know what I mean?
We also produce more players than a lot of them have as well. And actually, great Jake O'Brien played very well at the weekend again.
Yeah.
He's really proven himself in a different position, actually.
He played right back, yeah.
But he's been playing right back for a while now, and it's kind of
and they announced on social media they have a baby on the way as well. So
I saw that. Congratulations, yeah. Because in fairness, Sophie was in with us last year as well. So
yeah,
I did wish when she came back. She was.
It's brilliant for them, and he's doing very well for himself over there. So
yeah, so he's it's great to see, because it wasn't that long ago he was sitting in here and wasn't sure what his future was. He thought he was going back to France, and then I'd say quite disappointed that wasn't getting his game, and all of a sudden he's
the star man.
The star man, yeah. So I suppose that's Cork City. 1 minute you're playing the League of Ireland with us.
He got relegated with us.
Yeah, and now he's a Premier League first teamer.
Right back as well, which I still can't.
And he'll probably end up playing right of centre. I'd imagine a back three for.
And you'd imagine he'll be back in the Ireland squad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He has to be.
Himself and Nathan Collins, I'd say no, and somebody else probably on the other side. But
if he's not back in the Ireland squad, when we do have Heimer in here, we'll be having a serious conversation with him.
We'd be like Roy Keane back in the day, something anti-Cork here going on.
What was the? Was it Damien Richardson? Ridden rock solid.
Oh yeah.
So look, same again on Sunday.
Yeah. We keep going back. There's a bitterness here already. You can imagine. So, but
me bitter, never.
We're only reflective of what the fans are saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you caught up with the lads anyway ahead of the 2 matches.
Yeah, 2 matches to preview, so we do have the press conferences as usual. So we'll hear what they had to say there.
Tim, first off, I suppose, injuries heading into Wednesday or Friday, any knocks or niggles, anything like that?
No, none that's different from last week. Cahill's not far away, so that's a really pleasing thing for us. And Evan and Harry are still probably further away with their hamstrings. They're looking at probably 6 weeks from now. With a bit of luck, and Cahill will be back before then.
There was a lot of concern about Cahill when he limped off against Galway. What was the nature of his injury? And I suppose it's a relief that it's not as serious as it seemed on the night.
Yeah, no, it was an impact injury. Big Pat Hickey fell on the outside of his knee just as he sort of landed, and as Cahill was getting back up. So it didn't look good, but scans and follow-up consultations show that it's not as bad as feared. And as I said over the weekend, we're talking weeks as opposed to months. So
how frustrating was last Sunday?
Look, it's frustrating because we wanted to play. Not anything got to do with the time of the game or who we were playing or that type of thing. It was the second week of the season. You don't want to have games called off. And look, there was obviously 2 games there in 2 days, and then we were playing 2 days after that. And I think there was an early inspection at 11, which passed the pitch inspection, and there was one at 4 o'clock, which passed again. And then there was an almighty downpour for about 10 minutes, maybe 10 past 4 or so, and the water just sat on the pitch. And by the time it came round to warm-ups and that, the pitch wasn't playable, so it had to be called. And the disappointing thing is that, look, we've travelled up, obviously. We've had pre-match, and then the fans have also travelled a long, long way to support the team, and to get called off so late, it's very frustrating for everyone.
Is there anything that could have been done differently, do you think, on the day?
Look, it's probably the best surface in the country. Tallaught's looked after. There's a lot of money goes into it, and who am I to say that the ground staff didn't do a good job? The pitch is normally immaculate, and with 2 games, extra time and everything else, I think probably the frustrating thing for us was maybe there wasn't visibly the half an hour before it was called off, the work got onto the pitch, but the groundsman at that stage had been on the pitch for the whole day, and there was nowhere the water was going. I think the tanks were full, so that was maybe it looked for people that were there when it got called off that a lot of work wasn't going on, but the groundsman was there from 9 o'clock in the morning trying to get the pitch right, and with that downpour around 10 past 4, it wasn't playable.
And obviously then for yourselves, not ideal that it'll have been 2 weeks by the time you faced Bowes on Friday night.
Yeah, but look, we had an in-house game on Monday against ourselves, and it wasn't just a training game. Like, we got the home kit and the away kit on, and we done it properly, and Cairns actually refed it, so he was equally as good as the refs at the weekend. But no, so it was actually quite a good outing, and it was more of a game sort of feel, and we needed that as well with the lack of game for us for 2 weeks.
Thanks, Tim.
Oh, all right. Trev.
All right, Tim.
Trev, how are we?
Yeah. Good, thanks. Just on the game being called off again, obviously a lot of the fans are angry. You're up there, it's called off so late in the day. But from what I'm hearing, like, there wasn't a lot of ground staff visible up there. Like, there was only one, the goalkeeper, your own goalkeeper, had a fork out at one stage. So do you think there was enough staff from a Rovers' point of view to deal with the conditions?
I think, look, I think there was a lot of work that went onto the pitch, Trev, during the day when we weren't there. And then at the time it was called off, I think there was only the main groundsman, Billy, was there. And I think the rest of the staff were due in at 5:30. Again, it's not Shamrock Rovers staff, it's the council staff. And I think on a Sunday there's unions and there's breaks and there's all sorts of rules going in. I think we were told it was because of the unions that they couldn't come in till 5:30, which was half an hour before kick-off. So, yeah, look, again, as I said there, I think visibly, probably the half an hour before it was called off, it didn't seem to be a great deal of work being done on the pitch, but for the whole day they were working tirelessly, and with that downpour after 4 o'clock, it was just too much water lying on the pitch.
Yeah, and just one more question on it. Like, with the games being rescheduled, will Cork City Football Club have any say in when it's been rescheduled? Will you have any say in all of that?
Yeah, look, if for instance we play, let's say, away in Derry on a Friday night, I won't play the game on the Monday in Dublin. Then on the Monday, it'll probably be fixed for when we're maybe doing a long distance journey, and then to try and catch us on the hop then again a few days later. But no, we'll certainly be putting our position across for when suits us, and Rovers will put across when suits them as well. And I'm sure there'll be a common ground in one of the Monday games leading up in the next lot of weeks.
Yeah, just on Friday, what kind of shape are you in, Tim, ahead of the game of Bohs?
Look, we're really excited for it. I think the point against Galway probably looks a better point now since they went and beat Pats in the following game. And I think, look, especially on the first half of the opening day of the season, we probably feel a little bit aggrieved that we weren't more ahead in the game and possibly could have won the game based on chances created in the first half. And then we showed a good bit of character to withstand a lot of pressure from Galway, and that was a good thing as well, that we were able to sort of take that gut check as well so early in the season. So going into Friday now, it gives us probably a different type of game. I think Bohs will be a little bit different to how Galway played, and we went to Derry on Friday, myself and Hamo, and watched them against Derry, and we were in the Aviva as well and watched them the first day of the season as well. So we've got eyes on them the last 2 weekends, and they've got a lot of very good players that can hurt us, but we've also got a lot of things as well for areas that we think we can possibly hurt them as well.
Yeah, and just related to the way you started off against Galway, you started like a team train. Like, will you go after them early on again, or their game's contagious so far? They only scored one and conceded one, haven't they? Yeah,
and I think I spoke earlier in the pre-season and after the Galway game that every game we go onto the pitch, we're going to want to try and win, and especially more so in front of our own fans at Turner's Cross. It's sort of an obligation of ours to go and win games. We're not going out on the pitch to try and stop the opposition. We want to try and go out and sort of implement our own strengths on the game. And I think if you look at the attacking players that we have in the squad, it'd be counterproductive for us to go out and sit back and not try and win the game. So we've got to try and strike a balance where we can be what's the word I'm looking for? We could be sort of good going forward and efficient going forward, and also not being neglectful when we're defending the other end as well. So if we can get that balance right, I think we've got a chance of winning every game.
Okay, the last one, Tim. Obviously you expect it to be noisy on Friday. There's a great rivalry between Cork City and Bohemians, and maybe the City fans take their Rovers frustration out to make it so noisy on Friday night. Yeah, I hope so. I hope the atmosphere is brilliant, and Rennie will be looking to bounce back after a disappointing result up in Derry. So again, it's a second week in a row. They're probably making their longest trip of the season. So listen, we're hoping that if we can start the way we did against Galway and get the fans behind us, because you could sense it in the stadium. I suppose you can't get a better start than the start we had against Galway, unless it had gone in when Malik hits the post. It was such a positive start after 9-10 seconds, and it seemed to just kick us on then, and the fans were loud, and I think every time we had the ball and we got over the halfway line, it felt like we had a chance of scoring, and you could sense that in the stands as well. So we want that again. And again, you see Greg Bulger blocking the shot from Moses Dyer, got a massive cheer as well, and you can see the fans were enjoying it, and that's what we've got to try and bring. We've got to bring the performance levels that put the fans on the edge of their seat and get the noise electrifying like the way it normally is at Turner's Cross. Cheers, Tim. Good luck Friday.
Cheers, Trev.
Cheers, lads.
Just on the Rovers. So just final one on the Rovers game. Is there any way it could have maybe been pushed back to the Monday? It's obviously looked like it was always going to be a problem that there was a game the Thursday, then the Friday, and there's in February now as well.
I think, look, if you're looking at that, then I think there was another game if Rovers had gone through, they would have been playing on Thursday again, I think. So possibly, I don't know. I think it was penciled in for the Sunday, and look, it is what it is. It's not gone ahead, so we have to just refocus now. And the second the game was called off on Sunday, we just started thinking about Bohs on the Friday. So
in the in-house game, what was the score in the in-house game?
It was exciting, put it that way.
It wasn't a draw,
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think by the sounds of that, Tim is just looking forward to get back in action anyway.
Yeah, do you know what? He did interviews on Sunday afterwards, basically like they really wanted a game. Do you know what I mean? You train all week for a game, you didn't get one. So, everyone's going to be absolutely raring to go for Friday, and hopefully raring to go for Monday again. And it's a successful weekend, hopefully.
And did I see now you can get tickets in the Mace and Turner's Cross as well?
Yeah, another place to get tickets. So now you can. There's the obviously online via Ticketco, which is the easiest way to do it. The shop in Douglas and Mace and Turner's Cross as well. Yeah.
So can you get them actually in Mace on your way to the stadium?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if they're still there, like, yeah.
Well, that's the risk you take.
But in theory, you could, yeah. And I know for the first game, there were obviously queues outside because there's a new system with the new ticket window where you buy your tickets at the far right turnstile. I saw people online giving out about the queues to get your tickets.
I was in a queue myself. Just wait to get in.
Oh, just to get in?
Yeah.
That's good, I suppose. It means there's a crowd.
I'd say some lads have forgot how to use the phone. Like you could see they were like, "Where's my ticket?"
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
You know, you can just see there's guys there with the phone, and they're getting frustrated. And the more they get frustrated, they can't find their ticket.
Yeah, and then it takes longer. But I suppose the main thing, look, there were queues even to buy the tickets. So just if you can get your tickets in advance, save yourself the hassle of having to queue up and listen to the fella in front of you giving out about this player. Just get your ticket online, get in fast, get into your seat, get your chips.
I seen
and boo the. I can't say boo the Bulls players. And soak up the atmosphere.
Speaking of fans and stuff, I see that, we were talking about, obviously, we're going to Waterford on Monday, but like in the future, I see we announced a deal with a cinema in Cork to show matches, have we?
Unreal, isn't it? Arc Cinema, basically.
The Gate, for those that don't know it.
Yeah, it's the old Gate Cinema, now called the Arc Cinema. Lovely recliner seats and everything for you, for your away games. But basically, we haven't officially announced which games we're showing yet, but we've kind of said in the first press release it'll be the games that are harder to get to for fans. So the far away games, basically.
Derby.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well,
I think it's Derby, yeah. I think we'll be announcing that this week, maybe next week. But great reaction to it. We don't have the pricing information yet. That'll all be coming soon, but it's an interesting one. I haven't seen anything else to it.
Of its kind, is it?
Yeah, and that's why we were so keen to get it out, because it is popcorn. Yeah, you got your popcorn, your drinks, whatever. Yeah. Your big, the cinema-sized bottle of Coke, the cup of Coke, yeah. Your pick and mix bag, yeah. You can boo in the cinema, cheer in the cinema for the first time. I
don't think I've ever just jumped up out of a seat in the cinema, so that'd be an interesting one.
Yeah. The cinema staff are normally telling people to be quiet or stay calm. But 90th minute winner in the cinema, popcorn will be flying everywhere.
Or it'd be interesting to be in the cinema and people say, "For God's sake!"
I know, yeah. Booing a referee in a cinema will be a very strange experience, yeah. But do you know what? It sounds, by the looks of it, it's probably an ideal evening out for families, because you're not going to be at home too late, that kind of thing.
I know, it's very good.
It's an interesting one. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually going to probably, for whatever game it is, I'm going to probably try and stay and go to the thing in the cinema and get a bit of content and publicity around that, because I think that's a good story as well, you know what I mean? And it kind of hopefully will be a success, and it entices people to want to come to the next one. But no, I love it. I love things like this where we're the first to do it, and it's
that's great. You know what, the club is innovative in that regard, in fairness.
Yeah, and to be fair, like Anthony and Matt have been working on this for a while. Like we first heard about this, we've been talking to the Arc for a while about this, actually. We've been towards the end of last season we were talking about it. So to get it announced and get it all set up is class. I know the Arc are going to be putting up big banner in the cinema, proud partners of Cork City with signed jerseys up there and stuff like that. So they're really, to be fair to the Arc, they're really eager to push it and to get involved. They have a couple of signs at Turner's Cross as well. So no, it's brilliant, and it's, again, hopefully now whatever games we show, we win.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want to do. Yeah. But
speaking of the lads, actually, obviously the next kind of event besides the football matches, obviously, is the Italian 90 team, and I think the lads have kind of meet and greet packages as well. So for any businesses at the moment, I think
get in touch with commercial at corkcityfc.ie and the lads will sort something for you,
because that might be for a business out there now that are trying to entertain clients, or maybe their own staff, to kind of, you might have a business there where you have people that would love to relive their youth.
Brilliant opportunity to meet.
Great opportunity.
Some of the most famous faces associated with that era.
And imagine a couple of pictures up on that business's social then as well, with the likes of your Niall Quinns or whoever.
Just for anyone that doesn't know the Italian 90 events, we've spoken about them plenty on this, but if you haven't seen it, There's 2 events. It's sort of an evening with the Italian 90 squad.
Yeah.
First one is in the RDS in Dublin. So if you're up that end of the country, Friday the 14th of March at 8 p.m. And then that Sunday, which is the 16th of March, the exact same thing in the Cork Opera House.
The day before Patrick's Day as well.
The day before Paddy's Day, and tickets are selling very well for the Opera House actually. So if you are thinking of getting tickets, get them soon. Don't let it too late because they're flying out. So rebelarmyevents.com for tickets for both of those.
Yeah, and you know, so it benefits the club then as well. So win-win all round, like, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and something nice maybe to do around Patrick's weekend or whatever.
A very Irish thing to do around Paddy's weekend. Anyway, it's the Irish time of year. Like,
and we love
so.
nostalgia as well, like, so.
Exactly. Do you know what? We're going through a few bits in preparation for the event, and Dermot was talking about this, that, and he was like, turned to me, he was like, "Were you even born?" I was like, "Nah, I was another 6 and a bit years after that." Yeah.
I was 9 when that was on, to be fair. Like, yeah. I remember.
I wasn't even a thought when that was going
I
on.
tell you now, when it happened, the country came to a standstill. Like, you know, we can say this now as well because we're not going to upset. No, there could be a couple of rugby fans on this as well. Like, but like, if you really want to see what happens to a country, like when football takes over, literally, there's nobody in the shops. Like when the World Cup, when we've been in the World Cup in 1990, 94, and in 2002. It was amazing. Like.
Yeah, I've seen footage of Italian 90. You know, we were having a look at some kind of videos from the archives and stuff like that, and like there's a couple of videos in particular of Dublin looking absolutely mad. 2002 World Cup, I don't remember. I think it was like 3.5 or 4 or something at the time. So
I remember being inside in the Survive 2002 World Cup watching a match at like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
It was crazy.
I remember
because it was on Japan.
2016 Euros. The Opera House had matches live in there. I was in there watching a few of them, but what I'd give to see now the Ireland men's team, obviously with the women's team in the World Cup 2 years ago. But I
remember I'd
love to experience. I was obviously alive in 2002, but I don't remember it. Like, do you know
in
what I mean?
2016 for the European Championship, that time we were involved. I was working in Red FM at the time. We did a thing with the Sober Lane, the courtyard in Sober Lane.
Oh yeah.
So we had the big screen. It was the first time they got one of these big screens. God almighty, like it was massive crowds in there, like for the matches, like, and actually I bumped into Jonathan Rhys-Myers was watching it in there at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Unreal.
So, but like I remember that time we were covering it, and like Washington Street was just dominated with people. Just like after. When we beat Italy,
the Italy game, that was the one, and Washington Street. Yeah. I remember we were in the Opera House, and I think we went straight. We saw someone had a story up in Washington Street. Yeah. We were straight over to Washington Street. Like it was unreal. Yeah, so I've never seen anything like it.
So if you think back to Italian 90, like that was our first ever World Cup, and like we came in the top 8.
Yeah,
like you know, like for a small country,
I'd love to have experienced it. Yeah,
you know. So hopefully we'll get back at some point, and you know,
we will.
You know. Ideally, the next one.
We'll have Heimer in here after we get to the World Cup. That's what we'll do.
A few more Cork players on that team.
I'll say, the Cork team in the World Cup, it won't be Ireland. We won't be supporting Ireland, it'll just be Cork.
And then they're allowed to say, come on Cork, if they want.
Like, absolutely, yeah. If I hear come on Cork at Turner's Cross one more time, I'll be marching around shouting at people. I'll have a high vis on.
Yeah.
Cork City naming officer or something, just shouting at people.
Silly! Yeah.
Shamrock!
Yeah.
What can we call them? Yeah,
they don't have any other name. They just.
What can we call them? Jerseys? No.
I don't know. They like the Bob Marley on their jerseys and stuff anyway, and being associated, being the last stadium to ever have a concert with him or something in Ireland anyway. I think the only place that had him or something. But Bohs they've just one name. The same with Shelbourne. Pats, I suppose, would be the other one. It's the same. You can't call them the Saints.
Athletics. Paddies.
Yeah, I think we've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole. I don't know, we better come back out of it. But yeah, look, we're
I have another hour in me.
Surely we have enough to talk about next week anyway. We'll have not 1 but 2 matches when we're back in here next week.
Yeah, hopefully 6 points on board.
6 points, yeah, because that is the other thing. Like, we have only 1 point, and then you see teams like Shelbourne are 6 at the moment. Like, it's not true reflective of the league, like, because we only played 1 match, like.
And we would have had more than 1 point if that game on Sunday went ahead, but I'm not going to start on that now again. So,
not definitely, but we hopefully will have more than 1 point by this time next week, and ideally 7. Let's hope for 7.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, I'd be just happy at this point when games go ahead.
I'm sure we're all looking forward to that, but Yeah, so we'll be back next week, and get your ticket, and we see you down the cross Friday night.
And don't forget, we're on TV Monday night. So
On
if you aren't
TV
going
Monday.
to, if you aren't going to the RSC Virgin
We're on
Media
Virgin.
2, yeah,
Yeah.
see you virtually on TV, and we'll see you here again next week.
See you then.